Hey, what's going on everyone? The master event for the Ghost is just around the corner, and today we're going to be taking a first look at his kit. So of course this video was made possible thanks to the LEGO Legacy Content Creator Program, and let's just jump right into this. So starting with his little description right here, he's going to be a builder, a castle, an attacker, and a spooky unit. And his description is a powerful attacker who strikes fear in the heart of its enemies. Ghost strikes fear in the heart of its friends as well. Now you'll notice throughout his kit that even though he does have the attacker tag, he's also a bit of a support unit and a bit of a tank, but we'll get to that in just a second. Starting with his basic attack, he will deal 110% damage to the target foe and have an 85% chance to inflict defense down 2 for 2 turns. If the foe already had defense down, this ability deals critical damage instead, so a guaranteed crit, and has a 65% chance to inflict defense down 1 on another random foe for 2 turns. So a lot of good potential here to do a lot of damage with that guaranteed crit. So with his first special ability, he will deal 150% damage to the target foe, so quite a bit right there, and then have an 80% chance to inflict vulnerable. And vulnerable, of course, means that the next attack will be a guaranteed critical hit. This ability will also do plus 5% bonus damage and reduce their pet by 5% for each debuff on the foe. And if this ability defeats a target, inflict fear on all foes for 2 turns. It's a pretty nice ability right there for just the first special. The second special will deal 135% damage to the target foe, so again, quite a bit of damage, and the Ghost will then gain critical damage up 2 for 2 turns. He'll then have a 55% chance to copy each buff, excluding taunt, that's great to see, from the target foe to himself and another random hero. If the ability critically hits, the chance is 80% instead. And if this ability defeats a target foe, randomly copy each debuff on the defeated foe to another random foe. Of course, this will work very well against Ninjago since they gain quite a few buffs, and he'll be able to copy all of those buffs to himself and another ally, and it's a pretty high chance if that ability actually is a critical hit. Then we have his passive, which is definitely a long ability, one of the longer passives in the game. It's pretty comparable to Wu's. And it says whenever another hero falls below 50% health, so similar to Scarlet's passive, this will just trigger when they drop below 50%. He doesn't have to use an ability or anything like that. He will grant all heroes stealth for 1 turn. Then Ghost has a 15% chance to gain payback for 2 turns for each other spooky hero. This ability cannot grant stealth to Ghost himself. And then whenever a spooky hero gains stealth, Ghost will heal for 5% of his max health, and whenever an enemy happens to gain stealth, Ghost will copy one of his debuffs to the foe. And then whenever a hero is defeated, Ghost gains the following bonuses for the rest of the battle. The first unit that's defeated will give him a 10% dodge chance, and if the hero defeated was a spooky hero, he will gain 25% instead. The second time will be 10% attack, and if it was spooky, it'll be a 20% attack bonus. And then the third time, he will gain a 25% chance to heal himself for 5% of his max health whenever he attacks. And if the defeated hero was spooky, the chance is 50% instead. And then finally, we have his ultimate, and then we'll break down all of these abilities. So he'll deal 175% damage to the target foe and inflict healing immunity for 2 turns. Not heal block, this is just straight up healing immunity. For each foe with stealth or 3 or more debuffs, Ghost attack is increased by 10% when using this ability. For each other hero with stealth, Ghost clears 1 debuff from himself, and for each other spooky hero with stealth, Ghost will heal for 10% of his max health. Okay, so let's break down what I was talking about when I said he was kind of an attacker, a support, and a tank all at the same time. So first of all, he will obviously deal a lot of damage, 110%, 150%, 135, and then 175 with his ultimate with a chance to do even more damage. So if he has good, I assume he's going to have a high attack number because he is an attacker, and typically attackers do. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him throwing out 10k hits when maxed, but I believe we will only be able to take him to 5 stars with this master event. That's kind of what it sounded like, we'll have to see. But similar to Slimer, even at 5 stars, I think he still will do a decent amount of damage. And he's also a bit of a support unit. He can spread some helpful debuffs to the enemy team. He can inflict, of course, defense down. He can also inflict fear on all enemies if this ability right here defeats the target foe. And then with like this ability right here, he can copy buffs to both himself and other random allies. So those things right there kind of make him a little bit of a support unit. And then with this passive, he can also be a bit of a tank. So whenever another hero falls below 50% health, Ghost will grant all heroes stealth except for himself. So that means that the enemy team is forced to go after him, unless of course Ghost had stealth as well. But if he did not, he will then also have that chance to gain payback for each other spooky hero. And also, whenever a spooky hero gains stealth, which will be when this ability triggers, Ghost will heal himself up. So let's say in a full spooky team, Willa falls below 50% health. Well, then the Ghost will immediately put everyone under stealth, protecting Willa for a moment for just one turn, and then Ghost will not gain stealth and have a 60% chance to gain payback too, and then also heal for 20% of his max health thanks to the other 4 spooky heroes gaining stealth when this triggers. So that would give Willa long enough to heal back up, or Basil to taunt, or something like that. So this one-turn stealth will be helpful to just give your team a little bit of time to recover some health or get a taunt out. Pretty useful ability right here, although I could see this leading to Ghost dying a little bit early if he's only at 5 stars. But we will have to see what his health pool is at that level, and perhaps even throwing Aurora into this team could be viable. I'm not really sure if he would be 100% viable in a full Spooky team. Of course, he looks like he's going to be really good, but Spooky is already a really great faction and not very accessible. So the players that do have Spooky at a level that could be run in Arena probably also have characters like Egon or Winston at 7 stars and would probably use them in place of Ghost because of their synergies with that team. So I'm not entirely sure if he will work in a full Spooky team long term, but only time will tell. And by the way, with his ultimate, he will also heal himself up for other Spooky heroes with stealth, and he can also gain health when allies start to be defeated. And also, I'm curious if this applies to Basil being defeated over and over, because it just says whenever a hero is defeated. And it just says first time, not first hero, so perhaps this could trigger 3 times just from Basil, and then you'll start getting these bonuses before anyone is actually out of the battle yet, because Basil can just be brought back by Willa. That could be incredibly powerful, because then, when he actually uses this ability, this stealth ability, the enemy team will be forced to go after him, and then if he has payback, he can counterattack, deal damage, and then you'll have that 50% chance to heal himself for 5% of his max health, because the defeated hero was Basil, who is a Spooky unit. So this could be incredibly powerful to save a character like Willa by putting everyone under stealth except for Ghost, who then can counterattack and heal himself right back up. So overall, a very interesting kit. I can't wait for his event, and my fingers are just crossed that he will be unlockable with the team that I have. So that's going to be it for this one. Full video on the patch notes will be coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.